What is going on YouTube and y'all squad? This is your boy Yocrates. I am back after what I think a 2, maybe 3 week break. It doesn't matter. I'm back. What did it do? This is your review for the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 15, episode 1, season premiere. They came out swinging. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I ain't even mad. I mean, I will say I do miss, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Drew on this show, I do miss the fact that we didn't get anything from her. But let her husband tell it, and we'll get there. She, has some stuff going on with the family, so I do understand. But anyway, we start off with Sheree and Martell. Let me keep it a buck with y'all. I'm not spending a whole lot of time on these two. I'm not, because this is one of those. Have y'all ever seen, with celebrities, how two celebrities will all of a sudden just be linked up for a time, and then after a while they're not with each other no more, but them coming together for that duration help, both of their fan bases come together. You get them some clicks, some views, some numbers, this, that, and third, and then they on to the next one. This is what this is giving me, right? So the only thing that I really want to address on this is in her interview, Sheree is asked about love. She's like, well, I'm glad I never closed the door, but she says that she's not in love with him. They haven't really put a label on this. And Ross's 40th birthday comes up because that's going to be, the group event. And Sheree's bringing Martell, and Martell is upset because Candy had pretty much called him an opportunist. He was like, does she not know what an opportunist is? Her husband. Now, all is fair, love, and war. You feel me? And, I mean, look, if we give Martell and Todd going hands up, hey, look, it's going to be TV gold, but again, I can't be mad that Martell went there because, I mean, it's like, okay, Candy, you talking about him, turnabout's fair play, whatever. But we shall see. But me talking about their quote-unquote relationship, don't care. So we get Candy. She's with Carmen and Don Juan. So the clique is back together. Candy brings up the She by Sheree debacle, how it's disappointing how everything went. Like, we tried to help her. I tried to help her, but she acts like she knows everything. And then she wants people to work for free. Y'all know Candy ain't work for free. Like, she'll do charitable things here and there, but y'all know Candy. So they bring up, she brings up Ace being upset with her because, she works a lot. And, he even cries on the phone. And my only thing with this is, you know, this can't be your storyline every year, Candy. Now, again, this is real life. So I'm not saying this ain't real life because it is real life. But at the same exact time, if for years now, even from your daughter Riley saying something to now you have Ace saying something, you had Todd saying something about you not spending time with him. If this is consistently what you're hearing year after year and you are not putting forth the change to change something, this can damage your relationships not only with your husband but with your children, and it can cause resentment. And I get it. She's trying to build her empire, this and the third, and all that is cool. But you need to make sure you spend time for your kids because at this particular point, you can't use the excuse. I did what I could with what I had. Like we passed that, baby. You on child number 3. We passed that. Okay. But yeah. So then Manetta and Kenya join. Manetta is sorry for Candy thinking that she sided with Marlo last season, and from the looks of it, it did come off like she was low key siding with Marlo with the whole her Marlo and Candy thing. But I do understand her trying to get the facts. But there's a way you can get both sides of the story without sitting here. And again, like if you're gonna be 10 toes down for your friend, do that. Just gotta be aware of what you're putting out there, right? So Candy, Miss Heath's B-Day, but Kenya was there with a companion because that she ain't claiming them like that. His name is Roy, and Manetta, hooked them up. And from what I've been hearing, these two are still together. So hey, Kenya, do you boo? Sheree, we find out, is upset that Candy has been doing spoof reels on her. And Candy's whole thing is you always forgetting what you done said and whatnot, so it is what it is. But here's the funny thing, right? Marlo and Sheree they're not smart. Candy already told you she ain't never missed a beat or a bag. She know how to turn a shade tree into a money tree. Case and point. Like the whole KFC thing. What happened? Got a commercial. Ace was in a commercial. Like, come on now. Y'all know Candy gonna do Candy, and Candy gonna turn what y'all say. Even when Fraudra and Horsha did the whole plot thing on Candy, what did she do? Turn right back around, did a whole dang on play about it. Well, not a play, but it was a show, and got paid off of it. So yeah, all right, y'all see, y'all keep on making these dumb moves. She gonna keep on making boss moves, all right. So they bring up Martell and the streets talking. Kenya says, he lightweight tried to talk to her on IG. This was years ago. And and what happened is he had sent her a message and she never accepted it. So in order, excuse me, I think most of the time you have to accept it to read the message. Well, when she went to accept it, he had already deleted it. So I guess maybe he was moving kind of crazy because why would you delete it? And again, we don't know the context of it because, she didn't accept it way back when. So just is what it is. Todd and Candy, we find out got into it because he's working on his movie and doesn't feel like Candy supports him the way that he supports her. And, Candy begins to break down and we really don't get her breaking down when it comes to Todd, which kind of lets me know this probably is some real stuff. And, Candy even says that, like he wanted her to do something for her, a table read. He said it was at 11 one day. So, she wanted him to move it, but he couldn't. So she pretty much like cleared her schedule. 11 o'clock rolled around and he's like, oh, I had to push it to 4 because, so-and-so and so-and-so couldn't do it. And that right there is upsetting her because in her mind, she feels like it's almost like he wants me to be the problem. But I also want to say this, Todd, if by any chance you are purposefully doing this because you're trying to activate your wife so that she has relevancy on the show, if this is what you're doing, bruh, that's dangerous. It's dangerous. Like, I'm not saying that he would, but again, some people will do stuff behind the scenes to help create a moment, and they can't tell the person because it won't come off as being authentic. So, tread lightly, bruh. Tread lightly. Okay. So that's it. So now we get Sonya. So she's doing the party for her husband, obviously. So the venue they secured, canceled on them. I hope they had it in a contract to where if they cancel on them for no frivolous reason, they got a nice additional piece of change on top of what they were probably reimbursed for their deposit. But they got him a new one. Her brother-in-law is her assistant since he hasn't been able to score any real estate gigs in Atlanta, but is hoping that with him being her assistant, maybe he'll be able to rub elbows with some people and get to a better opportunity. Her sister feels like she has no boundaries. Like she's always coming to him, with something almost like a last minute where he can't even sit down and eat dinner. When it comes to, her and the kids, how she knows dinner time is at 6:30, but you want to come in at 6:29. That's when the kids, they want to go outside. So now if I say no, they can't go outside because they got to eat, I'm the bad guy. So pretty much just saying like, you ain't got no boundaries. Now, it's levels to this. First and foremost, again, I want to just keep it a bug. Hey, y'all in her house, right? And this is one of those things where I'm not saying that it makes it right, but I need people to understand when you put yourself in a situation to where you give people certain levels of control over you, they will overstep boundaries. They truly will overstep. They will feel like they have unrestricted access to you. Now, when it comes to your kids, yeah, that's something totally different. But I'm kind of wondering why you're just saying something to her about it now. Now, when it comes to your husband / her brother-in-law being her assistant, y'all know what being an assistant entails. Especially for those who got stuff popping, like literally you on that person's hip dang near 24 hours a day. So it's one of those where if it's a problem, then maybe he need not be her assistant. And again, I ain't counting nobody pockets or whatever. And again, I'm all for, hey, if y'all can sit here and make money, stretch living together, and there's no issues, cool. But why are y'all still there? Like, if you know your sister is overstepping her boundary when it comes to you and your family, then the easiest thing to do is remove yourself from that situation. So that's one less thing that y'all have to argue about. Because the last thing you want is for your sisterhood to go crumbling down because of this. I know something about it. That's why I'm talking about it. Anyway, so we get Candy. Todd is what? I'm sorry. Todd's movie that he's working on is taking up their family time. So they've been working on trying to have family time and whatnot. So he is on the kitchen table while she's on the island trying to get the food and whatnot ready. He's at the kitchen table by himself doing business and whatnot. And she's like, come on, come on. Here he's like, okay, I'm coming, but he doesn't come. And as she passive aggressively starts to sing, I don't have the energy to get all this done. That was passive aggressive as hell. And then eventually she just gives up. I mean, I guess we didn't really get a blow up or whatever, but I mean, you can see there's cracks there, which they need to fix that. Marlo, we found out that her sister is out of jail, but her sister has not spoken to the boys nor her since getting out. Um, so a life coach comes over. Her name is Miss Sharon. She's not only Marlo's life coach, but she's also helping the boys. Marlo brings up, she made one mistake last year, and it's just like everybody came against her. And the life coach was just like, well, no, you didn't make a mistake, this, that, and third. Because Marlo's whole thing is she used the wrong words last season when she said she kicked the boys out. But here's the other thing though. I don't feel bad for Marlo, and here is why. We not rewriting history, people. If y'all been watching this show since Marlo been on, Marlo will take one thing and she gonna run with it. And again, Marlo goes low, and I'm not against Marlo going low because y'all know me. But it's Marlo, you do the same thing. So again, turnabout's fair play. You can't get mad that somebody did to you what you do to them. You just wasn't expecting it, and hey, you got hit hard. It just is what it is, right? But William, one of her nephews, just like, well, don't feel bad because just like you was going through stuff, we were going through stuff too. It just is what it is. So that was comforting, and it was reassuring. The life coach wants them to have a family mission. So when things do start to get rough, start to get tough, they can always go back to what their family mission is. So, that will keep them grounded and bring them back together. Now, Marlo says she's 50-50 with this gentle parenting because of how she was brought up. We got it. You're Generation X, all right? I get it. I'm millennial, but my parents were both baby boomers. I know it all too well. So even though technically I'm not a Zennial by virtue of what my parents' ages are and how I was brought up, I will be considered a Zennial, even though I technically fall outside of that sub generation. I know all about that. I know all about it. But again, just because, it was get your ums upstairs and do this, yeah, you got it done. But these things do leave emotional scars. And again, we hold trauma in our bodies and in our muscles sometimes. And when your body just can't take it no more, and your body releases all of that, it's some stuff. So yeah, it might have made you who you are, but it doesn't mean that was always the best thing for you and for your mental. But whatever, we gonna hold on to these messed up ideals, I guess. So we get Marlo, Sonya, and Courtney. Now we find out Courtney is a Capricorn. For me, I was like, yeah. Then she started talking. I'm like, no. So Sonya and did I say Marlo? I'm sorry. This is Sheree, Sonya, and Courtney is Sheree's friend. I don't know why I wrote Marlo there. Might be, but Sheree and Sonya work out. Courtney comes. Courtney lets us know she's a marketing consultant. Well, has a marketing consultant company and her own jewelry brand. Courtney says that because Candy came up in a conversation and says that Candy, and I, we run in similar circles, and I heard that she was going around telling people or asking people if we're friends or not, this, that, and the third, and we're making an issue out of nothing, to be all the way honest. Because even she just like, because I'm just little old me, you're global, you're worldwide, why are you worried about me? Why do you even care, ma'am? It's obvious what you're doing, but see, Sheree does some things that I don't like. Every time she got to be up Kim's point of contact. And what happens every time she does that? She gets fired. Last season she had Danny Phantom on, Fatum, Fathom. had her on the dang on show, and look what happened. Your peach was almost in jeopardy because of that, because of who you brought on. So now you bringing somebody else. It's like, Sheree, can you be on here by yourself? Can you sit? Granted, you're boring, we get it, but can you sit here and do without having to bring somebody else in to make you interesting? Like, it is so annoying and it's draining. Anyway, so it's Sonya's husband party. She said her budget was initially 40K. It's now ended around 100K. All right. Ralph is there without Drew. Says she isn't feeling well, and her family, not their family, her family is going through an emergency slash crisis. Now, I'm pretty sure nobody really wanted to push the issue because that wasn't the time nor the place. But I mean, come on now, because he even said to us in his interview that he was there to support his boy. Sir, you just met Ross not that long ago, but okay. But the signs are there. You're there without her. He RSVP for the two of them, even though I believe the invitation was sent to Drew. And your wife is having a family emergency slash crisis, and you're here instead of being with her. Got it. Courtney and Ralph just found out that they're cousins. Okay, whatever. Candy says in her interview that last year Sheree had community service. Now she got community property. I hollered. I hollered like, come on. I think she wanted to say something else that a community property, but she was trying to keep it cute. Kenya says in her interview, Sheree needs a show called Watch Me Date These Dumb Dudes. Kenya, go get in the corner. Go get in the corner. I mean, that would be a good show to watch because, I mean, whoo, yeah, she can't pick them, but Kenya, sweetheart, you got a track record too. So, you know, I mean, Sheree might date F boys, but I mean, you ain't got the best track record. What else we got? So Marlo asked Courtney about the whole Candy thing, and pretty much says to her like, you might want to talk to her about it. And again, Marlo know what she doing. Like, I ain't finna be in it, but hey, the cameras are here, Candy here, you here, have a scene. And I want to make sure I don't skip. So I'm gonna actually I'm gonna come back to this. I'm gonna come back to this because I wrote these kind of jumbled together. So Marlo gets Courtney and Candy to talk, and eventually she removes herself from the conversation, and Sonya joins because Marlo just wants to see it from afar, but she was able to get them to come together and start talking. And Courtney brings up the whole friend thing, and Candy whole thing is real. Like I really don't know you. Yes, we do know someone in common, and I was asked if I knew you, and I said that I don't know you. Now, here's my thing. At this particular point, let's keep it a buck. Yeah, and yes, people were drinking. But that should have been the end of the conversation. Oh, well, so-and-so came to me asking me, da-da-da. Okay, no, I was just asked about you, and I don't know who you are. So that was that. That could have been the end of it. Be like, oh, okay, cool. And then from there, it could have been like, okay, well, hello, my name is Courtney, da-da-da-da-da. We all know it wasn't that big of a deal, but we know what the name of the game is, right? Cool. So Candy wants to know, like, what is this energy that you giving off? Because it's like, and I felt the energy too, just like, okay, you really doing a whole lot for no reason at all. And Candy says, the truth is, I don't know you. And Sonya even had to come in and say to Courtney, like, look, I know you brought up this whole thing and da 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 da. Now Candy low key kind of cut her ass like, oh, so you knew about this, but you ain't say nothing. But Candy will keep that in her back pocket. But then it's just like, but you did kind of, bring the energy, So then Courtney's like, you know what? I can be accountable. I can admit that I'm wrong, but I don't need to clout her, and kind of bounced her head. And again, I'm watching it so I could see why Candy is being irritated. I get it. I'm just like, oh, hell. And Candy, hold on, wait. Yeah. And right, so, I'm sorry, get to the left. So Candy is mad, and she pretty much checks her like, hey, you doing the most. And then Courtney says, bring it down. Now, when I heard her say bring it down, that reminded me of Nikki Gilbert and Selena Johnson when Selena got her all the way together. Oh, my Lord. I got to watch that when I get done doing this review. But she says, bring it down. And Candy replies, stop bouncing at me. And Courtney says, calm the bleep down. And then that's when, they're like, whoo, I'm about to choke this. And so that's where we get that from. So yeah, all right, y'all got Candy activated on the first episode. All right, I guess that was the plan. So the other part, because I wrote it, I like separated, so I'm coming back to it. So Kenya gets Sheree, pulls her to the side, and then also Manetta is there too. And Manetta's just trying to, see like, is this real or whatever? Because I think the whole thing is, okay, you guys are dating. And I think the question should have been is, what is dating to you? Because you have some people that feel like if you're dating, you can only date one person. Honestly, I believe that you can date whoever you want and however many people you want. It's at once you say, okay, I want to see what this is and let's work on this together. Then that's when it's like, okay, I'm no longer dating. Like we're in some type of relationship situation. But I believe you can date as many people as you want. That's just me. So, because if that's the case, then because they're just trying to figure out like, oh, okay, well, if this is what it is, then okay, we have nothing to be worried about. And Sheree is saying, oh, this is the most that Manetta had to say. I mean, quiet as a cat, Manetta really ain't have much to say last season, but ain't none of my business. And Kenny even says, well, he low key tried to, holler at me on IG, and then Sheree's like, you know what? Let me see it. And this is very. I don't give Sheree much, but I will give her this. Sheree has watched Love and Marriage Huntsville. Sheree knows that Martell would set it off, and knows that Martell would air out a room. She knows, and Martell doesn't have a problem with arguing with a woman. I mean, even though that's really nothing against nothing. I mean, now it's one thing to argue, it's another thing to be, downright disrespectful for no dang on reason. So she pretty much summons Martell to come over, and that's pretty much where the episode ends. So it was a good opener. I didn't think I was gonna give y'all this much, but okay, let's see. All right, gave you what I had. So that is it. That is all. Make sure you catch me tonight on Scotty by Nature TV for the Whether You Like It or Not panel. It will be on his channel. Make sure that you are there. We will be live and in color as we always are, and we just gonna have a good time. We gonna cut the food like we normally do. So with that being said, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will see you all tonight for the panel. Peace out.